All right, I'm going to do another video, and this is going to be vinyl pickups for November 2017. I'm just going to go real quick on this one. I think these vinyl pickup videos are just going to go real fast. I'm just going to kind of show the record and talk very briefly about maybe one thing that if I can think of anything about it. And I'll just do that for the vinyl pickups. I'm actually have some ideas for other videos, so more theme things than just vinyl pickups. But I just want to keep doing these because it's kind of, I already started it, so I just kind of want to keep going with them. All right, so I'm probably not even going to take these out unless there's a reason to, kind of. So this is going to be for kind of like hard rock and heavy metal, even a little bit of extreme metal stuff that I have, some death metal stuff towards the end. I don't even have the years that these came out this time. But in November 2017, I bought a ton of records that month for some reason. And, well, one of the older records I bought, this came out, I'm not sure of the date. I'm not even going to do the dates. But this is Medusa Trapeze. It's kind of like a hard rock record. It has, I believe it's Dave Holland is the drummer who ended up being in Judas Priest. Or sometime after this. There's the gatefold. And yeah, it's a good record. It's a good, like, early 70s album, kind of hard rock, kind of hippie-ish a little bit, kind of, I felt. At least this one is a Medusa. And yeah, it's all right. It's a good record. Not like a must-have or anything like that. All right, next album is, if you're a fan of this band, this is where you start, This is one of their albums that kind of, the band started to come into their own, and this was their third album, I believe. So, and this is Scorpions in Trance. This is the US press. I actually found out that this is actually blacked out even more than it normally was on, I believe, either an early press or the press or something like that, where you could see a little bit more than you can see on this one, which I found interesting. But this is a really great album. Uli John Roth plays guitar on this still. This is, very early Scorpions, In Trance. In Trance, it's the song itself, In Trance, is really good. It's probably the best song on here. Robot Man is really good too. I really like that song. And yeah, this is a real mid-paced Scorpions album. It's not as hard rocking, as they get later. And this is one of my favorite album covers from them. This and Love at First Sting are really good. A lot of their other album covers, as you know, are very controversial, and some of them just aren't good. And they've been changed and banned, things like that. So anyway, this is a good Scorpions record. This one is actually a better record. And this is, I think, I used to think In Trance was, but after listening to this album, I listened to both these back to back, and I really kind of evaluated them when I was listening to them, and I really think that this is a better record, just a little bit better. It just has some better songs on it, and that's Virgin Killer. This is obviously the non-band cover. You definitely don't want to get the band cover. It's kind of pretty terrible. RCA. Yeah, some really good songs on here. Pictured Life, Catch Your Train is really good. Yeah, there's just some, this is a bit more heavy of an album. They're getting more rocking on this. This is really good. From the Scorpions. Picked this up in November. My copy is quite worn out. Well loved. Plays great though. Real clean. Yeah. This is a record that I picked up I had a trip around this time. I went to Indiana for work, and I just hit a bunch of record stores, and I found a copy of Rainbow Rising, and my copy was owned by LZ. Put their initials right on the cover of my record. I kind of find that funny, and I think it's cool. It gives it a little bit extra charm, and it's almost hidden there, so it's kind of cool. This, obviously, Dio with Richie Blackmore from Deep Purple. This is their second album, I believe. Yeah, so this album is just fantastic. This obviously has Stargazer on it, which is just an amazing epic track. But it also has Chairwoman. Starstruck is really good. Do You Close Your Eyes is a fun song. Yeah, and Light in the Black. Great album. Ron James Dio is a genius. If you get a chance to see his documentary, it's fantastic. Bring the Kleenex, because, you know, it's pretty cool. And it's such a bummer that we lost him. He was still pretty young and his voice hadn't gone, you know, like a lot of these guys that are up there in age. Before he passed away, his voice was still, even though it wasn't, you know, peak Dio, he still was amazing at that time, singing For Heaven and Hell. Amazing. This is a heavy metal record I picked up. This is I think this is a European press, or a Canada press of Number of the Beast. There's that new reissue that just came out with the Hammersmith show on it, and the one song that was changed, I think they took Gangland off of the new reissue. This one still has Gangland on it. Yeah, this is a fantastic album. First one with Bruce on vocals. Great stuff. It's Canada. Since it's not US, it has a little bit of a flimsy cover. A lot of those EU presses have, you know, they used a little bit weaker cardboard than the US did. So that's how one of the ways you can tell if you have a press that's not a US press. You know, the cardboard's a little weak. Next album I picked up is Def Leppard Pyromania. It's a must-have pretty much for every vinyl collection. You should be able to pick this up fairly cheap. This is an original press, or at least an early press from the 80s on Mercury. Not much to say about this. Excellent album. Next album I found, I believe I found this one in Indiana. Yeah, this is MANOWAR, Battle Hymns. This is a pretty good album. Kind of motorcycle rock at this point. You know, they're heavy metal for sure, but it's, you know, they haven't gone into the whole sword and sorcery thing yet. It's mostly, you know, talking about being tough and, you know, riding your motorcycle around is basically where they're at. There's actually a song on here, Dark Avenger is the song, with Orson Welles does like a narration on it. It's pretty amazing. That was kind of maybe their dabble into sword and sorcery on this one. Yeah, and they, even though they have like the sword in the back and stuff, but yeah, there's song on here, you know, Death Tone, Metal Days, Shell Shock. Side 2 kind of, I guess, goes into a little bit more fantasy stuff, but side 1 is kind of just hard rock and tough guy stuff. But it's still a good album. I think the later stuff is a little bit better, and I kind of like the more cheesy MANOWAR than when they take themselves a little too seriously here. Anyway, pretty good record. Now this was a find. I found this I got this at a Second and Charles. Pretty amazing. And this is also a Canadian press on Attic Records. And this is King Diamond, Fatal Portrait. This is one of my favorite albums from King Diamond. I love this record. Yeah, it's a perfect album, really. Has some really great songs on here. Candle, Jonah, Portrait. Every song is good. Halloween. Every song is good on here. And yeah, I got this for like $20. You know, I got incredibly lucky. Second Charles really didn't know what they had in this one. I don't think. There was a few records I bought there. I'll show a couple more here that I got. I'll let you know which one. And it was one of my best days at Second and Charles ever. And they don't have anything now. Like, at least not the one by my house. Like, I don't know what happened, but they don't get shit in anymore. This album, I can't remember where I picked this up, but this is a thrash metal album from Metal Church, The Dark. It's their second album. This album kind of gets mixed reviews. I would kind of agree. Like, side 1 is really good. The Dark is really good on side 2. And then those last 4 songs are just okay. Watch the Children Pray, though. That is a fantastic song. You know, almost for that alone, is it worth, you know, getting the album? But I would probably stick with the debut and Blessing in Disguise. Those are probably the best Metal Church albums, in my opinion. Just my opinion. This would be like 3rd or 4th, even maybe behind Human Condition or whatever that album was. Or maybe even some of the newer stuff, you know. And this was obviously before Mike Howe. David Wayne. Yeah, David Wayne. David Wayne, great vocalist for this album. This is before Mike Howe became the vocalist. And now both Metal Church vocalists. Mike Howe, yeah, I mean, David Wayne passed away a while ago, but Mike Howe's gone now too, which really sucks, man. He had a great voice. His voice was still pretty good too. Anyway, Dark, good album. This is another thrash metal album that gets mixed reviews. I like this record. This is more mid-paced stuff from this band. This is Exodus, Pleasures of the Flesh. This album, they kind of slow it down a little bit, I guess you would say. And I mean, that's what you would say. No guessing, really. But, you know, yeah, they definitely play a lot more mid-paced stuff on this album. And I still think it's good, man. There's some really good hooks in here and some really good riffs. And I listened to this, you know, when I listened to this recently, I just kept flipping it over. I was like, I want to listen to it again. I want to listen to it again. You know, I don't know, it was really good. This is Original Combat Records release too. And this is one of the ones I found in Second Charles with the King Diamond and a couple other albums, man. This was just insane. And they were all under priced at like $20 or less. They did not know what they had. And I got incredibly lucky to find original press like that for just $20 sitting in the bin. And it's a great record. I think it's good. It may not be their best album, and some of the complaints on it might be accurate, but I still think it's good. Now this album, this is like one of my favorite thrash metal albums. Probably it's in my top 10, and that's Flotsam and Jetsam, No Place for Disgrace. I love this album. No Place for Disgrace, the song is one of the best thrash metal songs. Has one of the best opening riffs in a thrash metal song ever, I think. And just the riff in general is great. Obviously, Jason Newsted was in this band before this album was released. He has a songwriting credit, I think, on one or two songs. And yeah, this was a great pickup. I found this at the bin at Manifest, and it was $20 too, like $25. Anyway, great album, 5 out of 5. Almost every song on here is great. Some people say Saturday Night was all right for fighting. The Elton John cover sucks, but I still think it's all right. I don't skip it. Yeah, it's not the best, but it works. It's all right. This album, I don't... This is one of those records that I bought and I just never listened to. I think I listened to it once. I really need to spend some time with it. Dillinger Escape Plan, Option Paralysis. I can't tell you anything about this record except it has the cover where, or no, I think it spins. Yeah, it has the spinny cover. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, Dillinger Escape Plan. This is a record that I should probably set aside and put on. But yeah, I never got into them. I found this in a bin for like $15-20, and I was like, I'll buy this record for that much. And I think I played it once. I really need to sit down and listen to this record. I have over 2,000 records, so some records just I did not get to spend time with. This record, Blood Ceremony, Lord of Misrule. This is a really good album. This is kind of a 70s style, modern, a modern band doing 70s style hard rock or heavy metal. And kind of Sabbathy, Sabbath riffing. Got this on purple. The singer is a female though, so that's kind of unique about it, which I think is great. And she also plays the flute, so there's a lot of flute on this record, which it works. It's a really good album, even though there's a ton of flute. Like some people have, like a no flute policy in their vinyl collection. I'm okay with it. It's pretty good. It's a good album. These guys are from Canada too. That's one thing I know about that record. This next album, this is one of my favorite death metal records that I own. Obscura. This is a really good death metal album. These guys are really reminiscent of Death. There's some members in here from Necrophagia. So if you like a lot of tech death, this is a really good album. It's just riffs. That's the most important thing about death metal. If every song sounds the same, that kind of death metal I don't like. When I can hear the musicianship is really good quality and the riffs are good and they're memorable. That's the best part about these albums. This is a good album. Pick this up. Just got it on black. I listened to this album a couple times. Otep, Generation Doom, kind of new metal-ish. It's pretty good. I kind of want to get the Otep first album. I don't think it's on vinyl. I don't think it ever was on vinyl. I can listen to Otep every once in a while. There's not a lot of new metal I really like a lot. Otep I can listen to. I can put it on and I do enjoy parts of it. So yeah, OTEP is good. If you're looking for some new metal that is more tolerable, like, I don't know, if you're a huge fan of Korn or something like that, I hate Korn. I do not like that band. I don't like the sound, their sound. This is a pretty good album. It's not bad. I like it. I can listen to it. Yeah, like I said, I don't like a ton of new metal, but I do love bands like Kitty. I like Slipknot is really good. You know, there's just some really good, there is some really good stuff out there that is new metal, but it's definitely not at the top of my list. And the last album here is Virgin's Crown. This is kind of a tech death record, but it's incredibly fast. And it comes on this blue and red splatter. This is a pretty good record. It's not great. I would say it's just okay. I would need to spend a lot more time with it. It didn't grab me right away. I've listened to it a few times, and it's good. Virgin's Crown. All right, that's my November pickups for hard rock. And yeah, I'll just end it there. Thanks.